Hello, I'm OmnusI, your game master this evening here in my lair. Hello, friends. I am OmnusI, here in the Lair of OmnusI once more, answering another question from the RPG Brigade for RPG A Day, the August event where we tell stories about our gaming past and our preferences to uplift the gaming community, tell a story. And this, the 14th day, my question is, which RPG do you prefer for open-ended campaign play? My personal play style generally mostly allows open-ended play. My general preference for gaming is to have a flowchart, more organic layout for my stories, more so than telling a serial or episodic or railroady style game where the party follows a chain of events very tightly. I like to let my players have a lot of leeway in what they do. I'm not saying the world doesn't sometimes force them to do things. Occasionally the plot hammer does get wielded, but usually only when they're wasting time or ignoring some big obligation that they have. So, Dungeons & Dragons is probably one of the ones that I put events to more strongly. That doesn't mean that the characters don't feel like there's wide open spaces, but I have more adventures and modules in mind for Dungeons & Dragons than most of the other games. Likewise, Shadowrun is mostly episodic series of missions for the characters, but within that there is a framework of the open city and the open world around them that they can travel along and feel like they can, do different things as their characters and their resources take them. Star Wars, likewise, is usually based on missions and episodes, not really feeling as open world. I would say that the one that I have that I use frequently that gives the best open world experience are the White Wolf games, which primarily for me is Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf the Apocalypse. Because even though they're usually presenting a given scenario that the players will end up reacting to some way, shape, or form, I'm more than willing most of the time in either Vampire or Werewolf to just let events happen. As a matter of fact, my flowchart generally goes away and I put the situation out there that they can interact or learn about as they wish. Events are still going to happen whether or not they do anything. So the major NPCs have what they're going to do, which can be changed by the players. I mean, if one of them is going to be killed off by, say, a pack of ravening Sabbat, and the players just happen to be the guardian angel for that character, then by that next episode, I've got that death scratched off, and then what that character is going to do planned out, which may change everybody else's agendas, which has happened once or twice, certainly. But that generally tends to be about as open world as you can get. The world continues to happen. It doesn't mean that everything is just waiting for the players to get there. It just means that if the players don't save a particular character, that character is going to die. If the players don't want to be present for a particular opportunity, then they aren't. They may be told to do things by the world, but whether or not they do it is just as much on them as any wage slave can call in sick. Decide, no, I'm not going to do that for today. And that comes with its own consequences, but it is open world. It lets them not feel like there are boundaries arbitrarily put up around them, and if say they're playing Werewolf and they're just kind of sick of the whole thing, there's nothing stopping them from pulling up stakes and going and trying to find another cairn. And, telling the old sept leader to pike off and we're leaving. they can do that. I generally tend to tell more adventure type stories in those games, not rather than just lodging them down in one place, unless I'm doing a very short chronicle. So, for example, right now, my group has been deep in the Umbra, skirting around and exploring islands in the Caribbean, dealing with Silverfangs in Plymouth. Um, this is all in the time of 1660, oh no, 1661. So, that's just kind of how my stories go. And none of those were things that they absolutely were forced into. If they wanted to avoid any part of that, they could have. There may have been consequences, but nothing insurmountable ever. They have been driving the story, and now they're going to drive the story again because the misfortune that happened to one of the players is kind of forcing them to go and deal with his situation, which doesn't have anybody happy, but that's what they're going to do. So it could be a lot of fun having an open world. It can also mean that as a game master, you're constantly scrambling. And the useful thing with having a pretty good grasp on a world is that as you release one set of hooks and lines that you had, finding another set is rarely difficult. There's so much in the world that you can easily attach. And if all else fails, throw a combat in so your mind has time to backpedal and come to grips with what you're going to throw at the players next. So that is my answer. The World of Darkness games, to me, are the easiest ones to have an open world setting for. And continue to challenge and give your players unique experiences so that they can add to their own story. So I am OmnusI here in the Lair of OmnusI. Thank you for joining us. Please, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you, and I hope you have safe adventures.